You got into nutrition coaching to help people with your passion. So it only makes sense that you want to help everyone. And no one else is going to tell you this, so I will. Not everyone can be helped. Which is why today I want to highlight 5 red flags that come from nutrition clients that may be a warning sign that this situation may be trouble. The 5th one is the most important. It'll save you time, energy, and maybe even your sanity, so make sure to hang around for that. Let's start with red flag number 1, constantly convincing clients. If you find yourself frequently needing to convince clients to do the right thing, to check in, to sign up, to get on a call, it's gonna be your first red flag. Why is it a red flag for you? Well, not only is it exhausting, but it could be a good sign that they don't value what you're doing. They don't value your coaching. The people that are going to be good clients, the people that are already good clients, they already recognize the benefits of working with a coach and they're motivated to take the next step. You don't need to convince them. And this can happen before you sign a client up, as well as during the process of working with them. Let's focus first on what happens before they sign up. I want you to think about it this way. Think about the game of golf. You have 2 shots. One is an easy putt from 5 feet out, nothing in the way, you just gotta tap it in. The other shot is almost out of bounds, in the high grass, behind a tree, impossible to make. Which shot is easier to make? Obviously, it's the tap-in. The clients that you don't need to convince, those are the tap-ins. These people are out there, they're going to be easy to work with because they're gonna listen to what you say, they're gonna be receptive to what you say, they're gonna value your knowledge and understanding and your time. You can attract more people like this by posting more empowering content and how good it would feel when someone achieves a result, and try to repel away the people that aren't gonna do the work and are constantly going to need to be convinced to take the next step. Now, this is nearly the same scenario while you're coaching a client. If they're constantly fighting back on everything that you suggest to them, when this situation occurs, it's really hard to get on the same page and nearly impossible to see results. Now, some of this may be your fault. It's within your control to explain why you're doing certain things and to get the client involved in the solution. But if there's pushback on every suggestion, on every action step, and during every check-in, this is your first red flag that things aren't gonna work out. Red flag number 2, a negative mindset. Clients that consistently have a negative attitude are not only going to drain you of your energy, but they're going to be getting in their own way and therefore hindering progress before they even get started. I'll be the first one to tell you I am not into that woo-woo stuff. Sometimes it actually offends me, but a positive mindset does usually translate into better outcomes and better results. As enthusiasm and effort contribute to success, if you think something is going to work, you will work harder on making it work. And all that effort will make everything easier. So you want to attract clients that are already motivated, they're optimistic, and they're engaged. Is everyone going to be like this all the time? Absolutely not, but you want to focus on them having a growth mindset and really believing that things can get better. There's one potential client that I had an interaction with that I knew right from the beginning they were going to be trouble, and it came down to their negative mindset. As many of you know, in the Dr. Mark method, we teach something called the free nutrition report, which is before we start working with a client, when they're curious about the process, we show them how we will coach them. And we do this by getting them to track their intake, and then we give them insight about what might be holding them back from reaching their goals and some action steps on what they should do moving forward. It lays the path for results. It shows that you're a coach that cares and knows what they're talking about. I built my entire business around this, and so many of you have used it to grow your nutrition coaching businesses. It's very effective. Now, I sent one of these off to the prospective client, and here's what I got back. I'll read it right to you. Again, remember, this is the system and the process that many of you pay me thousands of dollars for, and clients over the years have been impressed with. But he said this: I've been thinking about how to say this. I was not impressed with your initial response. I do not feel that you really looked at what I sent you. I analyzed it, I was thorough, and I was clear about next action steps while being on his side. I didn't change too much. But he goes on to say, good luck with your business. I will be looking at other options. I, without a doubt, dodged a bullet there. I couldn't be more sincere about that. This client was entirely negative from the beginning, didn't value what I had to say, and really believed that what I was suggesting wasn't going to work for him. Now, I know you want to work with more clients. We all do. But there's going to be some people that we just shouldn't help. Now, in the example I just shared, I probably could have convinced that client by apologizing and say we'll do things a different way to work with me. And maybe they would have signed up, but that would have been the wrong move. This person was overly negative. They were gonna zap me of my time and my energy. And the worst case scenario, they may have even turned me off from coaching entirely. That could have happened because of this situation. People that are overly negative and don't see that they can change or what you're presenting is going to be the catalyst for their change, it's just not gonna work. And that's red flag number 2. Now, I have been talking about a lot of negative stuff here today, but I will tell you this, nutrition coaching is amazing and there's tons of white flags out there as well. So if you want me to do a follow-up video with the white flags, let me know in the comments below and I'll put that video together as well. But let's move on to red flag number 3, lack of follow through. Now you're an expert in this stuff and you're gonna present things that will help your clients get results and help them get out of their own way. And when you discuss them and make it really clear around what they need to do and they don't follow up on it, they don't bring it up again, they don't talk about it or report back on that, it signifies a massive lack of commitment, which can be difficult to hear from someone that wants your help and wants a certain result, and you have outlined the plan and they just don't do it. Why is this an issue? Well, clear communication around expectations is vital. It's probably the most important thing for you as a coach. And if clients don't engage with the tasks or action steps that they need to do, they may not be ready to do the work. Now, I will say this red flag may be on you as a coach just as much as it is on the client. Because to be an effective coach, we can't always be prescriptive, like do exactly this and you'll get this exact result. We need to get our clients involved in the solutions as well. Let me share with you some ways that you can do that. In reality, you're gonna work with like 3 types of clients. The first type of client is a client that wants a result and is going to do the work. They're currently doing the work. We're not talking about this client today. The second type of client is a client that wants a result, but really isn't doing the work or isn't doing all of it, but they're cool with it. They understand that that's on them and they're working at their own pace and they're content. This is great and you don't really need to fix this. You just need to keep moving along. The third type of client, and this is the worst one. This is the client that wants a result. They don't do the work and then they blame you. This is the lack of action and the frustrating solution that we're discussing today. When I've talked about this scenario before, other coaches have asked me, what are your initial thoughts when a potential client wants to work on their nutrition, but shares up front that they won't have the time to change any lifestyle factors? Movement, strength training, time to meal prep, those type of things. Your job as a coach is to help your clients get clear on where they want to go and what it's going to take to get there. And then you got to set some expectations on what they're willing to do and what they can work in. Personally, I don't think it's our job as coaches to tell people what they can and can't do, but you do want to make it clear what's required. And in this situation, when a client is resisting tracking their nutrition or doing enough training, we just want to point it out. We want to point out the discrepancy between where they want to go and what they're doing. All we need to do is highlight that because we're not miracle workers, we're facilitators of this change process, which means helping people get clear on what they want, what are the results, and then set the structure and action steps along the way to get there and help them remove barriers from doing those things. What you want to do in this situation is have a conversation around what they want and what they're doing and point out the distance if there is distance and they're not doing those things, because that will help them to see what's going wrong. And this is where real change happens. Now, this can be hard to do if you're not getting a lot from your clients. Let's talk about red flag number 4, which is going to be insufficient feedback. A lack of feedback from the clients, be it in their communication or in their weekly check-ins, that's going to show you that they're not all that interested or they have a lack of commitment. And this is important because coaching is a two-way street. And for you to be an effective coach, you need to have all of the information. And not only will it be tough to effectively coach them when you don't have everything in front of you and you don't see the whole picture, but it also signifies that you may care about this more than they do. And that's never gonna work. Now, I will tell you this, after working with thousands of nutrition clients, I do find that lack of feedback is much more common in men than in women. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. They just don't see the need to give you that much information. But for any type of client, it's your job to train them to give you all of the information. So in this scenario, I always like to kick it back to the client and make it about them. Hey Tim, I noticed you didn't share much in your weekly check-in today. Remember, so that I have all the information to coach you effectively, I need to get more from you, especially around the struggles that you had prepping all your meals this week. So if you can expand on some of those points, that will be great. The more information I have around this, the better I will be able to coach you and the quicker you'll be able to get to your results of losing 20 pounds of body fat. You may need to train some people, and again, this may be on you, coach. Now, if you're a coach watching this, I'd love to know, when you're not getting enough feedback from your clients, what do? I'd love to know more about how it happened to you and what you did about it. Were you able to get the client to contribute more, and did it work out? Let me know in the comments below, and let's start this discussion. Okay, and now on to the big one. This is the big red flag. And it's a telltale sign that things will not go well in your coaching relationship. And that's red flag number 5, complaining about past coaching experiences. If a client is constantly talking about how bad it was before with their previous coach, it raises a lot of concerns about their mindset as well as their expectations. Sure, I'm gonna put myself in the client's shoes for a second. We can talk about our preferences and we don't always have to be positive, but if too much time is spent on the negative aspects of a past relationship, you may not want to believe this, but chances are you'll be next. You'll be the next coach they complain about, regardless of how good you are at coaching. And it's because this behavior suggests unrealistic expectations. And progress is all about taking personal responsibility. And if you shift the blame to someone else all of the time, what's gonna make this time different? I know you'll want to believe you can change this person, you're gonna be the person to do it, and maybe you will, but you wanna be wary of this going into the coaching relationship. And start to set firm expectations around this process from the very beginning. Now, if there's anything you can take away from this video, it's not to persuade you to not work with these people or to send them to your competitors, not a bad strategy, but it's to improve your communication and your expectations around the process so that you can save time, energy, and frustration as you get into coaching some of these people. And to get better at explaining why they need to do certain things from the beginning for the best results. When you can get them to see why it's in their best interest to do certain things, that's where real change happens. And that's it, folks. Those are 5 red flags from your nutrition clients that you don't want to miss. You got into this to help people. Don't let the attitudes and behaviors of a few stop you from doing that. Now, as great as all those tips are, if you're really serious about starting a nutrition coaching business, the next thing I'm gonna have you do is check out this video I've linked up right here. Let's stick with the theme of things you may want to avoid. In this video, I'm gonna explain the most common mistakes people make when trying to grow their nutrition coaching business. So make sure to check it out now, and I'll see you in the next video.